So the first story that we've got today on the Hollywood on Strike update. Dwayne Johnson contributes historic donation to SAG-AFTRA Foundation Relief Fund, says President Courtney B. Vance. It's a call to arms for all of us. On July 13th, as SAG-AFTRA leadership declared the union was going on strike, SAG-AFTRA Foundation President Courtney B. Vance and Executive Director Sid Wilson drafted a letter to 2,700 of the union's highest-earning actors outlining the financial need that many would face in the work stoppage. Shortly after sending the letter, Dwayne Johnson's team reached out to say he wanted to help, so he and Vance hopped on a call. It was a love fest. It's like, man, you're stepping up in a way that is allowing others to know the dire necessity of it. Vance told Johnson about his contribution to the fund, noting that the exact sum is being kept confidential, but he was heartened by the A-lister's generosity. This is him saying, in such a time as this, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere, whatever you need me to do, and that sends a huge message to other folks to do the same thing. Wilson explains that the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's grants deliver up to $1,500 per individual member, but in extreme conditions where there are health issues or other situations that indicate an actor is in serious jeopardy, a lifetime member can receive up to $6,000 in emergency financial assistance. Thus, Johnson's seven-figure donation has the potential to aid thousands of actors. Wilson estimates between 7,000 to 10,000 members will need these services. So they don't give the exact amount that Dwayne Johnson gives, but they said it was a seven-figure sum. And they're saying that this is the largest single donation that the foundation has ever received. Now, strike funds are not a new thing. A lot of unions have those set up. When you're not working, you're not getting paid because you're not working. So for a lot of people, that is especially for a strike that's going on for a while, that's going to be a hardship. Honestly, when I saw what the grant is here, this really doesn't seem like it's going to be helping cover much. I mean, I'm sure they'll be happy to get whatever they can, but living in LA, when this strike is going to stretch on for months, $1,500 might cover your portion of rent for 1 month. $6,000 might cover rent for a couple months. Like I said, assuming you are sharing a house with other people who are also paying rent, but it does help. Now, one thing I want to note about this story is that this is posted on Variety, and it is a story about the generosity of an individual. Don't get me wrong, I am not trying to trash talk The Rock in this one. I have problems with the guy in other ways, but I have no problems with what he did here. I don't want people to get the idea that I'm being like, oh yeah, sure, he gave the money, but no. It is objectively a good thing that he donated this money. But the framing of it, of using one of the richest men in Hollywood, showing his generosity and his benevolence in such a situation, and the framing of it that Variety is putting out. Now, if you don't know much about Variety, Variety is basically like the Hollywood industry rag. It's like, if they print something, you basically know that it's true. Like, if you hear movie rumors and you just see it on some random site written by a comic book fan, take that with a mountain of salt. But if something is printed in Variety, it's basically true. But that doesn't mean that their framing can't be manipulated. And somebody else pointed this out on Twitter a couple weeks ago. There were these two stories, one in Variety that said, if SAG-AFTRA walks, the AMPTP will most surely turn to the WGA with a renewed offer to negotiate, while Deadline was saying, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers are planning to dig in hard this fall before even entertaining the idea of more talks with the WGA. And he says, both published today, both publications owned by the same company, Penske Media. They're trying to scare and confuse you. Don't fall for it. And then Dan Signer points out, worth noting that Penske Media also owns Dick Clark Productions, which is a member of the AMPTP. That's right, the owner of Variety, Deadline, and The Hollywood Reporter is in the AMPTP. Now, I tried to get independent verification that Dick Clark Productions is in the AMPTP, and I can't find anything. Like, I was looking up an AMPTP roster, but this guy is a TV writer and producer. He's got quite a lot of creds to him, so I think it's probable that it is. Like, Dick Clark Productions does, New Year's Rockin' Eve. I think they now own the Golden Globes and everything, so there is no reason to think that they aren't part of the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. Which means that Penske Media, which owns 3 of the biggest industry rags in Hollywood, also has a financial interest in the AMPTP winning out over SAG-AFTRA. So any news that you get from Variety or Deadline or The Hollywood Reporter, you need to be aware of the framing that's going into it and be aware of their financial interest. Let's take a look over here. Let's see what else they own. Yeah, Penske Media Corporation is an American digital media publishing and information services company based in Los Angeles and New York City. Publishes more than 20 digital and print brands, including Variety, Rolling Stone, Women's Wear Daily, Deadline Hollywood, Billboard, The Hollywood Reporter, Boy Genius Report, Rob Report, Art Forum, Art News, and others. Yeah, so this is a very large company that owns some of the most notable and respected entertainment magazines, like entertainment industry news. That's a big concern for all of these rags to be owned by the same company. The era of independent news seems to be pretty much out the window. That being said, to get back to this story, Dwayne Johnson contributes historic donation to SAG-AFTRA Foundation Relief Fund. I want to bring it back to the Relief Fund itself. I've got here, and I'm going to paste this in chat, and I've also got a link in the description. If you are in a position where you can donate money to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation to help out-of-work actors during the strike, please follow this link, go and donate. The Rock definitely helped a lot of them, but if you are in a situation where you can also help, please donate to this fund. It will go to actors in need during this strike, and it's one way that we can all practice solidarity with striking workers. And in other news about helping striking workers, we got an article from The Intercept. As Hollywood strikes, Senator John Fetterman introduces food stamps bill for workers on picket line. The legislation would repeal a restriction on striking workers receiving SNAP benefits. Good on you, John Fetterman. As it stands right now, there's apparently... Yeah, the Food Secure Strikers Act of 2023 would repeal a restriction on striking workers receiving SNAP benefits, protect food stamp eligibility for public sector workers fired for striking, and clarify that any income-eligible households can receive SNAP benefits even if a member of that household is on strike. So I didn't realize this, but that if you are a striking worker, you get taken off food stamps. That is inhuman. And good on John Fetterman for introducing this bill to try and counteract that. Now, with the split legislature, I have no idea if it'll get through the House. I'm sure it could pass the Senate, but getting through the House, we'll see. And this is definitely another way that we can make sure that the actors are being supported during the strike. So if you happen to have a senator who you're not sure where they're going to land on this bill, I would recommend you write them and let them know to support it. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream these reviews every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons with a special shout out to Piftle Cakes and Ryan D. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.